pole. Goose and X6 tie for second and third with a 31.62. Rozim right behind with 31.65 after looking slightly shaky in early rounds of the quali. In fifth place, over a second back from pole, we've got Sue and Lev, both tied on a 32.17. Andres takes 7th with a 32.55. Uris takes 8th, Trixie 9th, and Miko will start. Back, but not quite back, because not participating in quali was Juan Velasco, who will also be starting the race. Okay, that's my commentary bit done.
I don't think that's a good idea, to be honest, but we'll see.
It'll be fine.
Was that over half a second faster?
Then I take it.
If he goes bad, just blame Nancy. Where did Levy get tied second? Was it for Levy? Or was it someone else?
Yeah, tied second. No, Lev got tied 5th, tied 4th.
Oh, I know there was a tie for second as well. I think it was Goose and X6.
X6, yeah. Don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Levy, you got this, bro. Levy, you're my wild card, bro. I think you're gonna do good here, Levy.
Let's go.
Alright, let's go.
Oh, rain?
Oh shit, rain.
Rain?
Someone just type it. Okay. Sue never forgets rain, that's right.
Okay, right. Phew.
It's lights out here, we're underway. Grandy is on pole, takes the lead into the first corner. Goose and Rozim in a bit of a collision in the background there. We've got Rozim in second place. Grandy goes wide. We'll see how they're doing further up the pack. Levioso's back into third place. He goes down there inside of X6, makes a mistake. He's onto the grass there. Grandy, X6 goes down the inside, takes the lead. Grandy being pushed wide there also allows Suicide through on the inside. Lev still in fourth place. Rozim, Andres and Goose in the two yellow cars down in 6th and 7th. Got Uris, then further down we've got Trixie and Miko with Juan Velasco. At the back we've got X6 having led the first lap. Big cluster behind, they're stuck in the wall. They're all stuck.
Suester gets worse. He lost so much time on the pack.
They all get stuck in the wall at turn 1. That's unbelievable. Trixie puts it wide there. They'll be fuming with that. Miko finds his way up into 7th place, but they're all 3 seconds back from the pack ahead. Oh, I've never seen a crash so bad like that since...
Goose goes wide, that's going to allow Levioso to catch up. Fight for 4th this is, or 3rd.
Absolutely. Oh, we've got Uris and Andres and Goose in a 3-way battle here for 4th place. Will Uris go down the inside? He doesn't quite go for it. Front 3 now spaced out. Grandy's on the medium, slightly harder than the tyres on that the other 4 cars in the top 4 have at the moment. Sorry, my commentating is a bit rusty. It's been a long 2 weeks. Goose and Andres, meanwhile, 5th and 6th in those yellow cars. They're brilliant cars. Jake not here today, otherwise he would be in the golden car. Urist in 6th place. Rozim, then Suicide, Trixie, Miko with Velasco, about 17 back from second last place.
And already, Velasco has been lapped by X610 in lap 4.
Yeah.
That's X6 and Grandy going through.
Well, thankfully, we do have Ghost of Blues on. Looks like he's taking some dodgy racing lines. Maybe that is part of it, but we did let him race, so he can't complain. Andres, Goose, and Urus. This is a very technical track, one that people found very difficult. Andres pushes Goose just onto the grass there. That allows Urus through. Urus is going to want to have a go down the inside. Andres doesn't defend the inside, but he does give a bit of a squeeze. Urus pushes him wide. Very tight first turn complex. Allows Urus through, but he pushes Andres slightly wide. Goose and Andres scrapping there. Neither of them have unghosted through Urus. Urus comes out in the lead of that pack. Andres and Goose side by side into the bottom left hairpin. They're still all in a pack of 3. Goose makes a little mistake on the exit. I think Liverpool might have scored. Rozim in 7th place, Suicide in 8th, Trixie in 9th here.
And I tell you what, Andreas is going to be, Leviosa is going to be loving this little fight for 4th. He's getting to pull away for his podium here in his CL debut.
Absolutely. It's been well over a year since Levioso was last racing.
Oh, first place fight, X6 and Grandy, is that?
Absolutely, we've got X6, we've got Grandy on the harder tyres, but he goes around the outside at the chicane. That's a wonderful, wonderful overtaking move. X6 wants to fight that back. He's going to get the superior straight line speed. He's right on the back of Grandy, who makes a mistake, goes onto the grass. X6 regains the lead into turn 1, but his tyres are looking pretty knackered already. Further back, Just down the order, Lev still running in a race of his own at the moment. We've got that pack of 3
No,
still
they're
back.
to the sand. They're off.
They're both off in the lead.
Levy's going to make a bit of time.
Just ahead going into the chicane.
Levy's eyes are broadening like gold now. He could see a first place coming up for him now.
Absolutely.
And that's Grandy into the pits.
Jinx. X6 stays out despite the fact he's on the higher wear compound. Grandy's in for the mediums. He pits at the same time as Velasco.
Levy also in. Goose also in.
Goose is into the pit lane, that's correct. Lev is out of the pits. He's stopped. Grandy, Lev, and Goose and Velasco all having pitted. The others not having pitted. Grandy might go for the undercut here, but he's not going to want to have Mart in the way of him because Mart will defend this being on the hard tyres.
Will X6 pit? Surely he must now here. Yes, that's him into the pits.
We'll monitor where Grandy comes out. He's not going to want to battle Mart. X6 just coming through to the pits to get his stop now.
And the
Grandy
undercut.
will come out safely in the lead, but Andres is in second, trying to challenge him for that. Grandy on those fresh mediums, Andres on those older, hard compound tyres. X6 in third. Lev, Rosine, and then we've got a big battle going on here. Suicide and Goose, bit of a lag rocket. Suicide runs wide, that's allowed Goose through, Trixie through, and Eurus through. Suicide down into 9th place. Miko about 8 seconds back, he's in 10th. City have equalised, oh fucking hell. Grandy leading the way after a great undercut there.
That's the rain.
That's the rain on the way.
That's going to benefit Andreas really well. He's not pitted yet. That's got him into a provisional second place.
Absolutely, those hards, that hard strategy from the start really working out for him. Radio check says Velasco, I think he's got some mechanical issues at the moment. Kind of one of those situations where the car was allowed to race at the discretion.
Grandy in. The first person from the leading pack to be in Grandy. He goes for the wets. He's sure that the rain's going to last. And it will last.
But only for a little bit. It's going to go back to intermediate conditions, but we'll get a bit of full rain in for the time being.
Goose onto the inters.
Apart from Goose, who is on the inters. Exactly that, Jake. We've got some gaps over in the front, but we've got Lev and Rosine battling it out with Goose not too far behind. They lap Velasco again for the third time, I think. Lev in behind. Can he get a bit of slipstream here? Maybe try and make his way up. He's got a little bit of a wide exit, but I think he might get a slipstream through here into the chicanes. Does he go for the move? No, Razim defends it. Lev slightly wide there again. Further back, Goose on the inters. These are pretty good conditions for the inters at the moment. Trixie on the wet and Eurist on the wet also there. Suicide a little far back, as is Miko and Velasco a couple, 3 or 4 laps down. The sun's coming back. Beautiful. The sun is coming back here at the Nurburgring. But we've had
Goose is going to be loving this. Goose is going to be the benefactor from this. He could make up some time on Levy, maybe even Rosine for 4th.
Velasco not happy with the car he's been given today.
Miko pits really early on the hards already. That's not the best idea, I don't think.
No, I think certainly something you see in Challenger League as drivers less experienced with the strategy side of it, not fully aware of when's the best to go for the dry tyres, when's the best to pit for the wets. I think he can find some good tips after the race from his fellow drivers. We've got Razim in 4th, Andres in 3rd, X6 in 2nd, Grandy leading the way for what will be his 2nd win of Challenger League.
Levy and Eurist going at it now for 6th back here.
Absolutely, Velasco's pulled off to the side, he's back on the track now. Trixie just behind Goose as well.
Will drivers want to pit or stick it out for another lap?
Trixie's in, Eurist and Lev side by side down into turn 1. Lev really shows in the wall. Eurist's going to try and force his way through. He can't quite manage it. Everyone else is pretty spaced out at the moment. We've got X6 still up in 2nd place. He's having a good race. Not quite as good as Grandy, who did get that undercut on him early into the race. Just approaching the halfway mark here. It's now fully dried out, so those on wets will be suffering for sure. Grandy and X6 are both in. Grandy's on mediums, like you say. X6, we'll see what he takes. It's going to be the softs. He's going to want to close up to Grandy as much as he can, but he's already about 3 seconds back, Jake.
Yeah, Goose still on the inters. Is he pitting? Yes, for the hards. So most drivers onto the hards. Few on the mediums, a few on the softs, but it looks like the hards are the way to go. Andreas only 3.4 behind. X6. This would be great for him, you know. He's constantly near the bottom end of SL, sorry, and he would really love a podium, I think, here to kick off Challenger League.
And Urist in battle with Lev. It's City are 3-2 up now. They've come back from 2-0 down. We've got Suicide and Lev trying to hunt down Urist here. Urist on the softs, Lev on the medium, Suicide on the hards. We've got the full range of dry compound tyres there. Velasco's pulled into the paddock, I think. He's actually driving around trying to hit some marshals at the moment. Urist and Lev battling it through the first complex over the voice crack. Further up, we've got Rosine being chased down by Goose. They're on the same set of tyres. Velasco's not happy with his performance today. I told him not to race. Let's see where we've got some battling. We've got Lev now in the slipstream of Sue. Can he force his way past? He goes a little deep into the first chicane. Velasco's engine has died. Let's hope his speech will die soon, pretty much, because this is distracting drivers. Suicide chasing down Lev here. Urist following Trixie. It's really hard to make a move there. I'm going to tell Velasco to be quiet.
Currently, it's game on Goose, I think, with the fastest lap of the race, a 31.2. Really good from him here. He's kind of in no man's land right now, but he's trying to catch it to Rosine for 4th. But he's doing really good. He's got good, solid pace around here.
Absolutely. We've got Lev and Sue still neck and neck. Velasco has been told to shut up by the FIA president. Hopefully he'll follow suit. We've got a pretty spaced out front pack over here. Grandy, 9 seconds is the lead he has. He's been absolutely on fire today as we're through the halfway mark of this race. We've got Andrews on the
he's
hards,
pulling
Rossi
away
on the
more.
hards. Sorry?
He's pulling away even more. He joined midway during last season and he was constantly fighting towards the top end. Won his first race quite easily as well for him. Found some struggles towards the final end of the season. But I think now, if you're a bookie, I think Grandy's your best chance of winning the season.
Trixie,
you know, he's pulling away even more.
He's down the inside into turn 1, so I just cut back to the action here. Suicide trying to put a bit of pressure onto him. This is for 7th, 8th and 9th positions. Urus in 6th, not too far up the road. This is the close battling. We have Suicide pushes Trixie a little bit wide there, just to get the move done at that bottom left hairpin. Lev runs wide, Trixie runs right. They're all pretty much, they're all on the hards. They're all starting to just struggle with that tyre wear, especially through those very technical corners. Ah, wow. It's been a good race in the midfield so far, but out in front, it's looked pretty dominant from Grandy ever since he got that lead for sure after a pretty big undercut on X16 rather, sorry.
He'll just be hoping for a very, very boring dry race. No rain to interfere. He's now got a 10-second lead now on X16, and he's getting a pretty good lead on Andrews as well, 3 seconds. So unless there's some big dramatic rain or a failure here for Grandy, the race looks pretty much wrapped up as it is.
Absolutely right. Liverpool have scored.
And he's in. Grandy is into the pits. He's going to get a free pit stop. X6 won't catch up. He goes onto the mediums again. So unless it rains now, it's the best call possible for Grandy.
Even if he's still got a 5-second lead, he's out of that first little sector just as X16's coming around the first corner. On the pit exit, X16 was only in the final corner, so he's really got a great advantage, like we saw in real life with Charles Leclerc today.
Levioso in the pits as well. He goes onto the hards. He might try and take them to the end of the race, given there's no rain.
I think he'll struggle a bit with wear on.
Oh, X6! Andreas on X6 here for second.
Let's go have a look at that. Yeah, we do have Andrews on X6.
He's around.
Tires. It's just starting to go now. Andrews still on pretty yellowing hards, and he does get through at turn 1. Rosim's going to look to be next. X6, I think he's just taking these softs way too far. I mean, they're already at a very low level. Urus gets spun in the pit lane. Trixie and Suicide side by side. Velasco tries to go through a tunnel in the paddock. Lev's undercut has very much worked. He's up into 6th place after a slow stop there for Urus, and he's up into 6th place by quite a way.
Razim makes it to 3rd. X6 finally pits, maybe a lap or two way too late. But Andreas, the benefactor from that, he's into 2nd by over 2 seconds. He'll be looking for a 2nd place here. He wasn't it earlier, but the rain threw him off a bit. But now he's back where he was earlier. Velasco back racing until he's not.
Grandy now coming up to lap this pack. Obviously goes to blues, he doesn't have to do anything physical there, but he is getting ahead of Suicide and Trixie and Eurus, and the pack that Lev has now broken away from. Eurus on his own track pushes Suicide, the host of this race, wide, so we've got a bit of a grudge match going on there. It's not going to be the most encouraging
away.
racing.
He probably won't catch up to 5th in 9 seconds back, but he's pulling away from the pack of 3X Suazda and Eurus here. He'll be looking for a 6th place performance here. That'll be pretty good. Who is this in the pits? It's Goose. He will emerge ahead of Levy. And so some fresh mediums. He'll take them to the end of the race, given there's no rain. And Grandy pulling away. It was an 11-second gap this time last lap. It's now a 13.2, 12.2.
In on the outside of
and that's Andrews in, Rosim in, 2nd and 3rd pits.
At the same time, they're both going onto new hard tyres. Will Goose be able to take those mediums?
X6 makes it past Rosim, but not Andreas.
He does. Andrews just
He's
gets
on the stall.
Andrews gets that overcut done. X6 just there in front.
Now this is a real fight for second. No strategies, hopefully no rain to interrupt this. They're all on fairly similar tyre wear, and it's just going to be a fight until the end.
Absolutely. We've got Rosim here. You can see where X6 stretched out. He's trying to match the strategies of those around him, and he's done that to a relatively good degree. Only a couple laps older hards he's got there. Rosim goes to the outside turn 1. Can he get a move done here? He just hits the wall on the way through the corner. X6 snakes through as well. They're coming up to lap Miko now for probably, I think, the 2nd time for them. Andrews ahead in 2nd place. He's going to love the battling behind because he's just want to escape up the road, but not escape up the road quite as much as Grandy, who's 20 seconds ahead of him in a 31-second lap. This is unbelievable. Velasco's going for a nice little scenic drive through the countryside around the Nurburgring track. We've got a great finish coming our way here. We've got Rosim still trying to hunt down X6. Rosim would love a podium in his first ever Challenge League race. X6 would also love a podium here.
So what's doing Eurus? Still fighting for 8th. This is a great fight for the lower points playing positions here though. Absolutely. But they're still going at it.
Suicide and Eurus all race going at it. Suicide again trying on the inside there. Eurus again just closing that door on him, not allowing him the room on the inside of the track. We've got Trixie just ahead. His softs are considerably more vulnerable to be going to wear out right at the end of this race. I'd argue he'd probably even be best off coming in to stop this lap, which he does. Look at me, professional colour commentator and all that.
And I'll tell you who's gonna be loving this race. Started in 7th, I believe. Andrews into 2nd, quite comfortably as well. A great race from him. In fact, catch up to Grandy. Grandy pit, yes, he pit. So he won't catch up to Grandy. It'd be very impressive if he could. But hopefully for Andrews, it's going to be a very good 2nd place performance. As in 3rd, Rosim and X6 still fighting for that final podium place.
I'm not sure what happened to Grandy here, but I don't think a pit stop is a full 10 seconds, and that is how long, that is what the gap's been cut down by. So maybe there was some kind of mistake on that in-lap or on the way into the pits.
He definitely did pit, but I think he could pit twice and still end up winning this race at this rate.
There's no doubt about that. Andrews just making his way through turn 1 on those halves. Rosim and X16 all on the same strategy as him. We're just getting a little spaced out now as Tyler comes in. Rosim will look to stretch that advantage over X6 and secure the podium. Further back, we've got Eurus hunting down Suicide. We've got, as you say,
I think Brandy went to the softs. He had enough time to go into the soft to try and nab that fastest lap off Goose.
Absolutely, that is an ideal strategy for him, taking maximum points.
He needs to be at 31.28. He's currently on a 31.42, so it's very close. He needs to share off about a 10.5 now to try and get that fastest lap point off Goose.
Goose recognising that he's, well, nearly a lap down on the race leader at this point, has planned for under how much he'll think he'll have to do. So he is on those mediums while most around are on hards. Lev's just pitted for softs. So we'll see how that goes for him.
Lev may try and go for faster
here.
stuff as well.
We've got Lev, who's pitted onto the softs, brand new softs, but he's put himself at risk of losing positions here if those on those old hards can actually catch up. Suicide and Eurus still battling like they have been all race. We've got Trixie right behind on much fresher hards. He's going to want to make his way up into 7th here. We've got a great battle for 7th, 8th and 9th in this Grand Prix. Lev looking to just escape now. Eurus and Suicide battling will have helped that. They're almost 3 abreast going down the main straight. Suicide to the outside. Eurus just shoves him off. Trixie comes back to the outside here. Can he get the move done on Eurus? Eurus shoves him off. Trixie's into the wall. Suicide's back through. Eurus is going to want to defend this. Oh my lord, it's all kicking off here in the final laps. They're finally scrapping for some proper positions. Suicide off into the grass. Trixie's through here. Wow. Goose makes his way onto lap 34. X6. Rosime, Andrews and Grandy still running in the same positions they have been for the last few laps. Grandy made his way onto the final lap of the race here, but we've still got a battle back down the order here. We'll look at Eurus and Trixie and Suicide. Lev now having escaped that pack. He was lucky not to get too swamped down in it with those with that late stop onto the soft tyres. But
sorry to interrupt.
Grandy, the man coming round to the final corner now. Absolutely dominating this race, winning by 16 seconds. Grandy wins the Season 4 German Grand Prix.
And the rain may make a difference here in the fight. It could affect the last few seconds of this race.
And I think the checkered flag will come just in time for those not wanting to see any rain. Grandy wins by 17 seconds. Rosime takes a podium on his debut. X6 and Goose in 5th place. Still with that fastest lap that Grandy couldn't quite steal. We've got Lev in 6th on his return to racing. Eurus in 7th. Trixie in 8th. Not able to make advantage of that late stop onto the hards as much as he would have wanted. Suicide takes 9th after a close battle all race there. Miko in 10th and Velasco out in 11th. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a great race to start a new season off of Challenge League, and I hope you join us again next week. Bye bye.